what's going on? This is Brian Pickowicz, and today we are going to talk about the difference between cardio and weight training and really dive into which one is the most effective and efficient way to lose weight in your fitness and health journey. So as we're talking today, if you love this video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. I would really be grateful, and I am loving the engagement on these videos, loving what we're doing here, and I'm so grateful for you being here so we can really help you transform your lifestyle. And so in this video, one of the things I want to talk about is I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions from people who are talking to me and saying like, okay, Brian, how do I lose 30 pounds in a month? How do I lose the most amount of weight as fast as possible? How can I do this in the most aggressive way to make it happen so I can just get it done and be done with the weight loss thing? Now, the problem with that question is inherently it is the wrong question. Now, if you're asking that question, maybe you're here thinking like, how do I lose weight fast? How do I get this thing done? I'm not judging you. It's completely normal. I've been there many times myself. When I first started training and really getting serious about fitness, I was playing college football. I got up 250 pounds, just trying to eat everything, be a defensive lineman, and I decided I wanted to do competitive bodybuilding. And when I decided to do competitive bodybuilding, I looked at myself at 250 pounds. I said, okay, if I lose like 15 pounds, I'll be perfect, I'll be good. That will take me a month and a half. I'll hit the stage in 2 months and everything will be amazing. I'll win and it'll be fantastic. The problem was that I'd gotten overweight. And so when I went to go lose weight and do the contest, I realized I actually had to lose about 55 pounds. And it took me 6.5 months to do. Now, the whole time I was asking myself, how can I do this faster? What's the fastest way? And it did take a tremendous amount of patience to shift to that point. And you might not want to compete in bodybuilding. You might not have any goals like that. You might just be starting and asking yourself, like, how do I get this weight gone? Because I'm so sick and tired of being here. More than anything, though, I want you to hear, like, I get it, I hear you, and the cool thing is the point of this video is not to make it about the fastest way, it's to make it the most effective way so that you can actually sustain the progress you make and have this as a new lifestyle. The cool thing about the word lifestyle is it's really important that it's also livable. It's also important that when we look at fitness, we see it as something that gives us more experiences. It gives us the ability to become more and to do more. And that is the thesis of everything you're going to see on this channel. And that's why today when we talk about the difference between cardio and weights, I'm going to give you 5 different points to focus on so that this becomes something that you can implement in a strategic way, not just focusing on the science, although we're going to talk about that, but really making it so that it's something that's practical for you, because fitness can be over the top. I really want this to be practical, implementable, and actionable in your life. And implementable might not even be a word. But so as we're talking about this, first thing we're going to look at is where you're at. So when you're starting out this process, if you're new to this all, or maybe you're in this point where you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to get back on the ship. I'm trying to get moving again. What do I have to do, Brian? If you're in that position, either one, a lot of times there's inherent beliefs that come into play. So if you're just starting out, you might be afraid like, okay, I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to go to the gym and not know what I'm doing. Or you might be thinking, hey, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to gain a bunch of muscle and look like a meathead. And the thing that's really important is, first off, if you're worried about being a beginner, it's completely okay. That's normal. Everyone deals with it. And the best way to move through that is to just start with small actionable things. If you're here watching this video, I commend you, because that is an action item that you can check off the list. And the second thing is, if you are worried about becoming bulky, that's just not going to happen. It's not the way that muscle building actually works. And even for me, I've been intensely training for almost 10 years now, and although I have an aesthetic physique, have a strong physique, I am strong. I don't look, at least I don't think I do, from my perspective. I think I look like a normal, fit, healthy person, and I can guarantee that's going to happen for you too. So that's one bucket. The other bucket is you're like, hey, how do I get back on the ship? And if you're asking that question, I'm excited that you're here, because I hope this approach speaks to you on a deeper level than just how do I dive in head first and make this happen. So as we're dissecting these two things, so I do want to look at what the facts are here when we talk about cardio versus weight training. So first, in one bucket, we look at cardio. cardio is going to be the most efficient and productive way to burn calories. Now, cardiovascular training obviously is more based off of our body intaking more oxygen when we raise our heart levels, when we raise the amount of output that we're doing, and that's going to happen through treadmill exercise, it's going to happen through jogging, it's going to happen through long distance running, whether that's the step mill or the walk that we take throughout the day. There's so many different forms of cardiovascular training, but the real focus is going to be from a calorie standpoint. We will burn calories in relativity to the increase in activity or the intensity, but also it's a byproduct of what our current weight is. And now that makes sense, because if you weigh a certain amount, then your body is going to need to burn a certain amount of energy in order to get your body in motion. And so when we're looking at calories burned through cardio, there's going to be more calories burned through cardiovascular training when you look at it as a comparison to weight training. So if you do 45 minutes or 30 minutes of a cardio exercise and the intensity is relatively the same as the weight training exercise, then cardio is going to burn more calories. Now, that doesn't necessarily paint an articulate or a factual position on what is better. And the reason why is because on the other side of the equation, we have strength training, weight training, resistance training, which is going to have its own benefits, which is going to be obviously getting stronger, increasing your muscle tone, increasing your posture and functional mobility, and it is going to increase your basal metabolic rate, meaning the amount of calories that your body needs throughout the day. Why is that? It's pretty easy to explain, but if you think about it, when you're running, yeah, your body is utilizing your legs, you're stabilizing your core, but you're not increasing the amount of muscle tissue that your body needs in order to sustain itself, because you're not resistance training, you're not hypertrophy training. There's no push for your body to increase muscle density, and it's obviously pretty evident if you look at a runner. The physique speaks for itself, right? Whereas if you look at someone who's weight training, their body, through hypertrophy training, through resistance training, through progressive overload, is having to build more muscle to make up for the overload that is happening to the body. So if you start weight training, your body will build muscle. I guess the best articulation is from a visual standpoint. If you just look at it and say, okay, someone who has more muscle has more bone, they have more physical tissue, and therefore their body is going to need to utilize more of what they intake in order to fuel that body. That's why, just from a baseline, that's why we can see someone who is strength training is going to have a higher metabolism than someone who is just strictly cardio based in their training. Now, when we talk about what is the best for progress, one is more of a long-term strategy and one is more of a short-term strategy. The way that I like to explain to my clients is think about if you're someone who intakes 2,000 calories a day. Now what I want you to think of is, instead of that 2,000 calories, if we just say $2,000, let's say that you have a budget of $2,000, and that is what you get. That is what you naturally get in your job. Maybe you're a freelance person, you got paid $2,000 to do something. That is your budget. Then what happens with your two types of training is, if you're doing cardio, it's almost like you're saving money. So you're not going to be increasing the amount of money you have, you're just going to be increasing the budget that you have for that day. So if you go and burn more calories, and therefore you're saving that budget, it's going to create a distance between where your body is naturally at and what you're needing to intake in that day. Whereas if you think about weight training, it's like you get done the project and someone says, hey, you did a good job, I'm going to give you an extra $200, I'm going to give you another $500, because you just increased your budget. So those two things play out in different ways based off of what we're focusing on as our goals. So short-term focus, cardio will burn more calories, therefore will reduce weight in a faster setting, but weight training is going to increase the amount of calories your body burns throughout the week, and it's more of a long-term strategy for weight loss. Now, what does that mean for you? You might be sitting here saying, okay, Brian, so the theory is then I have to go do a bunch of cardio. Or, okay, now I need to stop doing cardio, I need to be long-term focused, I need to do some strength training. Neither of those are going to fit in the bucket, and this is my 5 points on what is the most effective way to train and utilize these two tools to see long-term sustainable progress in your fitness and health. So the first thing is do what you love. Now, I'm not some motivational speaker, not going to pep talk you on passion, but if you like a certain form of training and it's something you can be consistent with, then I highly advise you to do that. I'm not going to go do CrossFit. I hate CrossFit. Not that I hate the people who do it, I just don't like doing it. It's not fun for me. I find that it's not a good mental release for me. I don't find peace from it, and it's just not something I want to do. So if you told me, hey Brian, for the next year you're going to have to go do CrossFit all the time, that's the only way to lose weight, it might be harder for me to see sustainable progress. But if I have a type of training that I enjoy, whether that's weight training or for me now, I love long distance running, I'm going to be more sustainable, and I can guarantee it's the same thing for you. So rather than trying to fit yourself into a bucket, put yourself in the position that you want to be in and do training that works for you. Now, the second thing on that is change it up. So if you are finding that something is getting stale for you, then add something new to the mix. It doesn't matter necessarily which path you take, it matters that you're on the road. And I know that that sounds cliche or metaphorical or whatever, but the truth is that if you are moving your body, then you are moving your body forward. Whether you're doing 15 minutes on a bike or going for a walk. Sometimes I'll have clients who just struggle to get in the gym. They're like, hey, this week it's just not happening. It's like, okay, can you take the stairs? Can you go for a walk? Can you get your body in state? Why is that important? It's important because if we look at our total calorie expenditure for the day, if we move our body, we're going to be creating some form of a deficit. At the second point though, when we change our mindset to focus on what we're doing for our body rather than how much weight we're losing, we make better choices with our nutrition. And the facts are clear. If you have weight training, or you have some kind of training rather, with a nutrition setting that is optimal for weight loss, then you're going to lose more weight than people who are just dieting or people who are just training. So putting those two things together makes it so that we can see more progress. When we move our body, we make better decisions throughout the day, and that aligns for long-term progress and actually reaching your goals. Now, the third thing here is what my 2 cents is for what you ought to do, and what I would advise you to do is I would prioritize strength training and functional mobility. The reason why is when you get stronger, it acts in one way to really give you an enhanced amount of gratification. So it's more instant. If you go into the gym and you lifted 5 pounds last week and now you can lift 10, that does something to your brain. That does something to that dopamine that we're constantly seeking and the gratification that we get from training. Now, it also gives us something that we can look forward to, but from a more structural standpoint, strength training increases our body's posture, or improves our body's posture. It does increase bone density, and what I find with clients is that it is more exciting, it's more of a release, and it gives a overall better approach long term than just going to the gym and doing cardio. Now, the fourth point on that is use cardio as a tool. So cardio is something that I love to do. I love long distance running. I love to go to the gym, and before I train, I always do 10 to 15 to 20 minutes of cardio. Now, the reason why is because I find it puts me in state. I find that it gets my heart rate up, which means that I can focus on actually working out at a better capacity. It helps with warming up, and from a overall health standpoint, you do want to have cardio in your fitness program. You do want to have it there to improve your cardiovascular system. You want to have it there to improve your respiratory system, but it's a positive way to check in before you go to the weights. So when any of my clients that I coach, I talk to them and say, hey, let's do 15 minutes on the Stepmaster. Let's do 20 minutes here. Let's focus on it this way so that you have a release from the day, and then you can go to the gym and have something that is burning calories from a weight loss standpoint, but also is getting you tuned up so you can have the most effective workout possible. And then the last thing, I know for this context it might seem out of place, but I truly do believe this, and that's why I'm going to say it here. But the most effective way to lose weight is to shift your focus from being weight loss driven to being body driven. Now, what does that mean? That means instead of obsessing about how much weight you're losing and how fast it's coming off and all the things you're doing, focus on what you're doing for your body. Focus on how your body feels after you work out. Focus on strength training that's allowing your body to be stronger, and how it's affecting your mobility, and how you're in a position where last week you could only lift 30 pounds and now you can do 45, or focus on how you can now increase the speed on the treadmill by a half mile per hour, or any of those different things. The more that we put the metrics in how our body functions and what we're doing for ourselves, the more it improves our sustainability. It improves our adherence, and then we actually start to follow through with the goals that we have set for ourselves. And I often say that weight loss is a byproduct of habit. It's not a byproduct of ambition. There's a lot of people who have the ambition to lose weight, but our overall focus on the habits and the daily actions that we take is ultimately what leads to sustainable weight loss. And when I say sustainable, I mean not losing 30 pounds and then gaining it back. I mean having a lifestyle that gives you health and allows you to have this consistently, because this is something that won't just get you to a better body, it will get you to a better mindset, it will get you to a better quality of life, better emotional sustainability, and it makes everything in your life come together. Now, I'm not saying this is a panacea, I'm not saying fitness is going to solve all your problems, but the more that we focus on how we're doing something positive for us and moving ourselves in the right direction, the more that we have something that moves us in the right direction. And so it doesn't have to be complex, it doesn't have to be over the top. Just focus on doing simple daily exercises. Focus on doing things that push you out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, and putting it all together in a seamless, simple way is what's going to allow you to see amazing progress long term. So the point of this video is do things that work for you. Focus on having fun with this. Celebrate your body with your movements. Focus on mobility and strength training, and couple that with cardio. And lastly, celebrate this process as something that makes you better rather than just something that allows you to reach an arbitrary number, because the journey is about progress. And when we have progress, we have something that anchors us towards where we want to continue to go to. So my name is Brian Pickowicz. I thank you all for being here. I have a special free gift for you as you're here. So I'm going to be offering you a free workout so that you have something that you can start with no matter where you're at. And all you have to do is click below and we'll be sending you that PDF right away. So click below, put your email in, and we'll send you that workout for you to get started on your own journey. But thank you all for being here. If you love this video, feel free to comment below what stood out to you the most. And lastly, subscribe to the channel because we're going to be cranking these out every week. But thank you all for being here, and just remember to continue to be a light and inspire others to believe more. I'll see you.